When Nintendo announced that a new Animal Crossing was coming for the Switch, I was at home playing Skyrim and Black Ops 2 on my PS3. So if you could tell, I wasn't much in the loop when it came to video game news as much, because when the only thing you have is PS3 and Wii, you tend to not pay attention much. It's not that I didn't care, it was more like actively avoiding it to avoid being jealous of everyone else. Well, when I did get a Switch, I started getting a little more into the news and thought it was pretty cool that a new Animal Crossing was coming. Now, this isn't my first round with Animal Crossing. I have played the first one, Wild World, City Folk, and Pocket Camp, but not much. Maybe it was just the general art design or just how slow it is, but I never got into it. Which is weird that when they revealed it was called New Horizons, it got my attention. Well, now that it's been a couple months since the game has been out, I could say this game has been pretty addicting, with its exploration and even crafting even though the tools break, and just doing ordinary things you can do in real life. I don't know what it is, the vast amount of freedom you get, all the charming little quirks that come with the game, such as decorating your house, and lawn to your liking and how you want it. And there is a lot to do in this game, and you could spend hours on this game doing just little stuff like fishing. Fishing in this game is pretty fun, until it isn't. It's fun fishing up red snappers, dabs, clownfish, surgeons, sharks, and all that good stuff. The seahorse goes for a pretty penny at 1,000 bells, and the barred knife drop at 4,000. It's a pretty good time waster, especially when you catch an oarfish or golden trout. So you best just go home. So when you start the game, you basically start off with nothing until you play for hours and finally have a thriving town. Maybe. When looking at other people's islands, it looks like an actual city or town. And looking at mine, it still looks like an island. I already went through everything and have terraforming unlocked, and the only thing I've done with that is connect all island parts together and create waterfalls. But I'm not the only one that plays, so the island has already changed. Twice. Starting off, your island isn't going to have much, and the resident service is just a tent, and you're basically in a prologue for a good week or so. Eventually, Blathers comes and plans to build a museum once he gets enough donations of bugs, fossils, and fishes. And I wish I had known that sooner that he accepts fish and bugs and not just fossils 3 days after he came. Anyways, I would say how long or how little you play in a day determines how fast you progress. When you build or do something, it can take anywhere from 1 to 3 days for it to complete, which is a little annoying. Scratch that, that is really annoying in certain cases. Like, I just want to play and progress. I don't want to wait that long just to progress further, because sometimes depending on how much money you have, you can upgrade your house or build a bridge or incline in a few minutes, and you can be out of stuff to do for that day. So that can be a problem for some people, which is why they time travel, by changing the system's clock. Once you finish the prologue, the tent becomes a building and you unlock Isabelle. When you unlock her, you're able to change the town tune, town flag, get island evaluations, and the types of songs you can play is a little limiting, and you can't change the pace or tempo, so... You also get more stuff to buy in the Nook Terminal to decorate the island with, and also inclines and bridges, and you can upgrade your house. You start off with a tent and eventually build up to a mansion. But that can take a while since you have to pay your house off every time you upgrade. That aside, this game can look pretty stunning given the right location and area. Like look here and how the sunset just looks so good. The skybox and environments in this game are pretty good for the Switch, I guess. Or just an Animal Crossing game. But there's nothing really much going on here sometimes, which makes me wonder why this game is locked at 30 frames per second instead of 60. I'm pretty sure this game can run at 60, right? You don't really see much in the distance since it's all blocked by the ground, so... After doing all the tasks Tom Nook gives you and reaching a certain amount of stars, KK Slider comes to play the theme song, and that's kind of that. And then he starts playing every Saturday and takes requests after 6, in which he'll give you the song he just played for free. You can also buy the songs in the Nook Terminal, but everything you buy that isn't a DIY, you have to wait until the next day to get it. That's pretty annoying. Yeah, I know why they did it. They went the realistic route where you have to wait for it to get shipped, but come on, Nintendo. Well, back to the topic of KK Slider. Obviously his best song is KK Metal. I mean, come on, look at the album with its Ride the Lightning inspired art. And then also randomly throughout the week, other characters visit the island. Daisy May visits every Sunday morning to sell turnips, but I can never buy any because I'm always asleep. Then Leaf, Kix, Sahara, Flick, CJ, and Wisp appear randomly. When I first saw Wisp in the title screen, I thought the island was haunted. And then once in a blue moon, Red comes to sell you art. Whether it's real or fake doesn't matter to him though. And he also sells you fireworks stuff during August, because obviously the developer saw Dora the Explorer and not Zootopia. And Celeste, the sister of Blathers, who comes every time there's a meteor shower. She tells you you can make a wish every time one appears, and then the next day a star fragment appears and you can make some crazy DIYs with them. And even Mabel from the Able sisters. At least until she moves to the island. And then after that, Label appears, and she gives you tickets to spend at the Able sisters if you do stuff for her. So it's a pretty busy community. Speaking of which, the community in this game is crazy, with Nintendo constantly updating the game every few months or so with events and holidays. People go all out with their island, theming it after holidays, events, basically anything they can think of. Just look online and you can see all sorts of different islands, like an industrial island, a Disneyland themed island. If it exists, it's probably a thing. But with any settlement, you need inhabitants, but unlike previous games, you need to go looking for them. On the second day, you get the airport, and with that, you can visit friends, either locally or online, or go to Harv's Island, or spend 2,000 Nook Miles to go to a mysterious island. But I don't have any friends, so off to Harv's Island. Here you can create all kinds of scenarios, ranging from a simple photo shoot to full-on episodes of TV shows. People go crazy in here and let their minds run wild. I should give it a shot. I should have known that was the only way. Well, I don't have any amiibos, so off to a mysterious island. And if you're lucky, find a villager you like. Villager hunting is what it's called. It's the activity of spending multiple Nook Miles on tickets just to get a villager that you really like. And depending on how lucky you are, it can go really quickly or it can take forever. And had I known that was a thing, or actually looked into other villagers that were in the game and not just get whoever I saw, some villagers that I have definitely wouldn't be here. Now, the villagers can always leave, either because you treat them poorly or because they want to, but you can always tell them that they're stuck here. Throughout my time, only 2 villagers have gone and came. The first was Leonardo, who got kicked for Ketchup, and then Mallory, who got kicked for Raymond. So with the villagers you decide to keep, you can give them stuff and build your relationship with them up by either doing stuff for them or giving them stuff. And eventually they'll give you their picture, which means you achieve the maximum friendship level. And you can get it more than once too. I don't have any pictures, but my sisters do. Also, if your friendship level is high enough with a villager, they'll host your party on your birthday. Well, not on mine, because my birthday was a few days after the game came out, so I got nothing. The villagers pretty much have their own personality. At least the ones I have. And you can also make them say stuff, either through giving them a catchphrase or greeting. It can either be in line with the personality, or not. But if you have 2 types of the same villagers, say Peppy, then you realize all the Peppy villagers are all the same. They all want to be pop stars, they all steal catchphrases, they all do the star reaction, while other villager types like Snooty are different. I have Claudia and Mallory, and despite both being snooty, they were pretty different. Like, Mallory was mean, Claudia, she sings all the time, and isn't as mean, and Claudia is still on the island too. I don't know what it is with some people and villagers, but some people just go crazy. Like, they'll round them up in cages as if they're zoo animals and charge people to see them, pester people on Twitter for villagers, and even sell villagers for bells and Nook Mile tickets or even real money. So you know what? I have decided to quit the job that I don't have and follow in their footsteps. The only problem is, though, I don't want to sell any of my villagers. But you know what? Don't worry, because I have the next best thing. Welcome to my raffle extravaganza. You want 'em? We got 'em. Who wants to go first? Do I hear 4,000, 5,000? Is that the police? I got arrested.